Hey guys,
Hello.
what's up?
Nothing.
Nothing's up. Nothing's happening.
Nope. Average day.
Oh well, something looks different.
Oh, did you get a haircut
Did
finally?
Did you move?
Well, I mean, I stopped my last assignment and I finally went back home. Does that count? So this is my actual house. This is where I actually work.
Oh, very very nice.
Can you see my eye? Wait, that's not how that works. The old cars are with you.
Anyway, hi guys, welcome back. We have something cool to talk about today, hopefully. So, thank you for joining us.
And I hope a lot of you are going to join us because I put the bloody... Oh, that just changed it. I hope a lot of you will join us because I put the effort in. So you better be here and put the effort in to say hi to us. That's what I think.
Yeah, so first things first, guys, hit that like button. We have 50 likes with 73 people here already, which is awesome. But we got some, I think rather exciting, at least, if not exciting, hopeful news to talk about today and speculate on, and we want to get your input as well because we do love hearing from you guys. So,
and that may or may not directly link with what I'm wearing right now. So it makes sense possibly.
It does, and I'm excited to talk about it. But
Me too.
We need to share this and get more people in. Do you want to go do that, Samuel? While I talk to the fine people about super chats and stuff.
I sure can. I'll see you in a minute.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you. Sergeant Montgomery puts in a super chat, and that's a great way to start the live with a first snipe. I love it. Are you going to be the last snipe? Are you going to be the last super chat slot? We'll see. But yes, as you see, super chats are a great way to get you guys involved, get your comment read, your question answered, get you to be part of the conversation. And we really love that. We love hearing from you guys. We love hearing your thoughts. We love hearing what you think about our thoughts and whether or not we're complete idiots or not. We love hearing your opinion on that kind of thing. So if you want to, the good way to do that and get recognized is to hit a super chat. Helps the channel and, get your name all in lights and colors and makes you feel special, hopefully. Plus you're supporting the channel and us as well, and we really appreciate that. You can also join the channel at the rank of Captain, Commander, Captain, Fleet Admiral, or Federation President. Really went weird there. So you can join that. That's like a monthly subscription to this channel, and you get some cool emojis and really, your name highlighted and a badge beside your name shows how long you've been around, and we really appreciate that as well. Another way to do that is Patreon/Trekyards. That is another monthly donation service where you can support us, show your love for the Trekyards content, and hopefully we can continue to bring it to you forever. I do love his background, by the way. That's really cool. I'm jealous. Anyway, other than that, you can also hit us up on PayPal. There is a description in every video that talks about all the cool links and stuff we have, how to help us out, how to support us, and how to send us PayPal. It's to trekyards@hotmail.com. Just if you do send a PayPal, though, we ask that you please let us know in the chat that you've sent the email, sent the PayPal, so that we can read your comment or question via the email for that, because we want to hear from you guys as well.
Put my space headphones back in.
Space headphones. Yeah. I need a big silver one. Or are they outdated now? You're in the transition period.
Let's see what Piachi said about this, because I'd like to know if Piachi has some response. Our first time doing live green screen ever. You'd think Peel would make a fuss about it. Let's see what Peel said.
Ooh, he's on the bridge.
Yeah.
That's it. Aww.
Yep, that was very, very middle reaction. It's like, oh dear. But just for the record, this is like super low tier me green screen. I just set this up. The green screen is way too close. I've got way too few lights, and the OBS isn't overly great. But considering this was done in about 5 minutes, with something that's actually going out of my room into the corridor because it's too big, it's quite good considering it makes no sense. And my hair's not very good for this either. The lines of the uniform do work a lot better.
Actually, your hair looks really good, I think, in the stream. Yeah, I think it's good. That's why we're a little bit late, guys. But hey, it's worth it. We're trying to do something fun and creative for you guys. So
and also, you wanted audio, right?
Audio is always a good thing. We had an audio issue. Yes, we had to fix that.
It happens half the
time. But yeah, Sergeant Montgomery, like I said, started off with a snipe. First snipe, $2. So thank you. I'm just wondering if he's going to be our last super chat. That'd be a nice little bookend to the super chats. And Olivia Julius, $5. Welcome to Trekyards, your home for the best Trek entertainment YouTube can offer. Please make sure to hit the like button and please pet the puggy. Oh, I thought we were going to go through a whole super chat without the word puggy being said, but no.
Or at least we're some of the most informative out there. It's not necessarily the best, but we like to be informative, you know?
We try
That's kind of
for
our
sure.
thing.
Yeah, yeah. So
Tell me the
guys,
impetus about this, even though I told you the impetus about this. But you tell the audience what the impetus behind this was.
okay, well, there was
Don't give the whole story
as
away,
you guys,
just a bit of it.
exactly, yes. As you guys know, there was a lot of Star Trek news dropped on First Contact Day. Nothing about Strange New Worlds, though, oddly enough.
Oh, ruined it.
But there was an interview with Akiva Goldsman where he goes into a few details about what's coming up and what we can expect. And it's really great because a lot of it is stuff that I know Samuel's definitely said that he thinks will happen. I've been less optimistic in that regard, but this is really a good thing to hear and definitely has my hopes up again. I mean, they've done this before, though. So, again, you got to kind of be a little bit guarded. But hopefully they have learned from their mistakes or their past and kind of made things, made the right decisions this time. So, yeah,
And
we got a few things to mention.
And we are going to quote this man, which helps. These aren't, he gave actually a surprisingly in-depth interview here. I was kind of surprised how much he was giving away. I think he feels quite set in his power base over there, having been brought on so many times, and he's the he's the director of the pilot plus executive producer, so it'd be hard to fire him. You know what I mean? Like if he wants to say something, he can. And so I think I was quite surprised by his candor, but it was rather refreshing. Now, obviously, pandering is not the same as refreshingly candorous, because when we see every interview, every press CBS video, and they always say, "I've been a fan of Star Trek since I was a kid," and we're like, "Yeah, but were you though?" It's obviously part of the brief for every person who ever worked on the show to say that. And it loses its value when they all say that, and because they keep making the stuff they keep making. It's like, it doesn't really equate to that. But it was nice to see how candid he was. I'll be interested to see how genuine it was. It can be lying candid. No, sorry, real candid.
Yeah. It's definitely worth a discussion, especially for Trekyards. We do like this kind of thing, and this is stuff we've kind of been pushing for since we first saw Discovery and like New Trek. Like we want, things to change, and I think they might have caught on, and hopefully are course correcting a little bit again. So
well, every year it's fair to say they have reverse course, and you can't exactly do that in one. If 5 episodes later suddenly change it. You can't course correct if fans want one thing too quickly, as it makes you look weak. And considering it's only been 3.5 years, that's relatively quick. Although how many hundreds of millions have been spent to get to this point?
Too many.
Yeah, but this is the one show people actually asked for, and got because of fan reaction. The only show, and so this is the one they can make unlimited money from. This is the one they have to fail, because this is the one that should be really easy to succeed. You just make a modern version of TOS with these characters. That's it. That's all you need to do, and it'll be a success. Those morals, those messages, those style, that positivity, that crew feel. Leave the overt politics out of it and have subtle politics through alien cultures. Even if you need to have an alien planet with a orange-looking alien leader who's overbearing, fine. But don't be human, don't be part of Starfleet, If you need to do those sorts of things, do them, but through the same prism that TOS was. So this is their one to lose, and then one to succeed on,
Yeah, absolutely.
And this first interview I've actually seen where actually feels more genuine, he understands that.
Yeah, and there is hope for that, as we're going to get into. So we do got a few more super chats here, though, which is great. Thank you guys for contributing. Olivia Julius, $5. This is a Puggy-free super chat. That's right, no Puggy yet to mention. Not at all. Absolutely no Puggies. Well, thank you, Olivia. I'm glad you could break the habit.
See, she has got self-control.
Yeah. Control. You must learn control.
There are 4 pugs.
I wish there were 4 bugs.
Oh.
Eugene.
That's quite a sad comment, actually. It's just like, oh.
Eugene, 1,000 rubles.
Ooh.
Alex Kurtzman and Akiva Goldsman have learned from their mistakes. Doubt that. I mean, so do we, based on the track record, but at the same time, the statements they're making are pretty impressive, and they're not as vague as they were before.
Yes.
See, we got a lot of vagueness from Kurtzman in the past, like, oh, by the end, things will line up with what. Really? That's not very specific.
And they didn't anyway. So.
Yeah, and this one seems a little bit more specific, and like they started off on the right foot at least, um,
Well,
or
also,
closer to it anyway.
and also in that specific example, he was talking about the abstract future, whereas Akiva Goldsman is filming his pilot now on the sets that have been built, and so he knows exactly what the vibe is because he's currently filming it. So if he's saying that, like, he was on the set yesterday, day before, so that's committed, rather than the abstract in the future. So if he's saying that now, he's either fully online to get press, but then unlike with other, unlike saying, oh, it's going to be serialized, you can't know, episodic until you actually get to the show. Once you see a trailer, the art design is out. So if he says this now, all the YouTubers are going to fall back and say, well, you said be more like TOS, and we saw the trailer. What's that about? But it's but basically, I'm wearing this because of the first time we actually got first time we got something that sounds promising. Now, not to say we actually want direct TOS. I don't think either of us are clamoring for that. We're not purists in a literal sense. We're purists in the canonical logic sense. You can retcon a D7 to be more detailed, a la Trials and Tribulations, because it's still a D7. But you can't retcon Klingons to have no hair and 45 colours and suicide bombers. It's like, it's a shitty retcon. That's not fly.
And guys, we have 170 people here and 88 likes. Let's hit the like button if you haven't. We can easily hit 100.
200, yeah, please.
Hit it 150, like right away.
Like Spike to the extreme. I want to see it.
And Eugene, I do agree. Unfortunately, all we have right now is this, and we didn't get any other Strange New Worlds information on First Contact Day, so this is something that at least is something to discuss, something optimistic and positive, and definitely, hopefully they've been learning. That's all I can say. So keep your fingers crossed, guys.
And there's also news about Picard in this as well. There's actually little tidbits all over the place, which we'll also talk about. Although, before I jump into my thing, Matty C says, morals would need updating since our cultural norms have not remained the same since 1960s. Thoughts?
That's what Star Trek is. Star Trek's been doing that and updating things all along. So, doesn't matter when it's set in the Star Trek timeline. It's still... They'll be adjusting things to fit the modern environment, the modern culture. And that's what Star Trek does best. Like the screaming out loud without saying a word, the whole, social commentary, pay attention to me because you know what this is talking about, even though, it's kind of obvious yet not yet. Hey. So, I mean, I'm not too concerned about that. Yes, things have changed, but at the same time, they're still going to approach those things in the same manner that TOS did, by veiling it a little bit, hopefully, and also making it like obvious enough that people can clue in. So,
although you say, things have changed, but I don't think the meaning of being a good person has changed. Of doing the right thing, of being fair, of kind, of polite, of well-natured. There's actually, more corruption and bad things happening in the abstract now because things are more grey. But Star Trek wanted an idea where everyone was equal, everyone was together, where racism wasn't even a concept anymore. And, okay, women not as captains was a bit weird, and that was retconned out pretty quickly, but there are a few anomalies, but for the most part it's pretty nice. Like, those things are still universal. That's why they hold up. And they follow through to TNG and later, So you say that, but it's more the subtle things that are ever-changing, but maybe they're not quite as important as the fundamental human values that were shown early on, So I don't know,
I mean, good ideas and moral, the golden rule is essentially do unto others as you want to have them do unto you. That's like the one thing that doesn't really change ever. Yep. And so, it's absolutely going to be fine, guys.
Everyone was born equal, and if you can help someone, help them, and don't be a dick unless they're your friend and that's your internal language. Then it's fine.
Yeah.
Like Bones and Spock, he wasn't being a racist or a speciesist. He was being a friend, and Spock also ribbed him right back. So I mean, slight variations, but TOS was a really nice show with really good values, for the most part.
And our good friend Doug Clements is here. He's one of our moderators. Good to see you, Doug. Can't wait to see the new sets and uniforms. Hope you guys are doing good. We are. Thank you so much. Hope you are doing good as well, sir. And Let's see. We got Ian Smith, $10. Evening, gents. I love the background, Commander. I want to believe. I hope they'll get this universe much closer. I know what they should do with the ship, but will they? Color me gun shy. Yeah, we all know what they should do to the ship. And there is, again, a little spark of hope in that regard here.
I'll bring this article in a minute. Just got to get the set back up.
Yeah. So, trust me, guys. Samuel messaged me, said we should do a live on this today, and I'm like, okay, I need the article. He sent me the article to them, and I read it, and I immediately got right back to him, which I never do because I really don't. Because I talk to him too often. I don't want to talk to him.
It's like a 5-hour minimum wait.
But I got right back to him, and I'm like, God damn, that's hopeful. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm super that's a big me. I'm super stoked to
I took a long time to get to you. That's a long delay.
It is a long delay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
That's funny.
But anyway, yeah. So, are we going to get into the article now, or do you want me to read another super chat or so?
Yeah, super chats. I'm just finishing this.
Okay. Ensign Ricky, $2. Unfortunately, seeing is believing with new Trek. Seeing is believing with everything. I mean, people have been talking about this June 2023 movie release. I'll believe it when I see a poster and I know that it's in the can, and I guarantee it won't be June. It'll probably be like they'll push back or something. But anyway, yeah, seeing is believing, unfortunately. And as much as we talk about it and really have optimism and hope here and make great suggestions and things that should be done and, you know, the right thing to do, we've kind of been, it seems like we're talking into a void at some points, but at other points things happen and it's like people have been paying attention. Maybe I'm glad that we're out here at least talking about it. So that's why we're glad that you're here as well, guys.
I think fundamentally though, you see numbers and you see marketing, and they can't help but see their revenue from their merchandising drop year on year, and they have to keep making new stuff to try and balance it. But there's only so many old fans are going to buy new old stuff. You need new stuff that's interesting, etc., etc. And the fact there hasn't been any merchandise tells you everything about the lack of market shares of interest. Maybe new fans are interested, but they're not buying stuff because there's nothing to buy, but there's no market for them to buy. You don't think there'd be massive amount of content if there wasn't interest for it? That's how supply and demand works, and that was pre-pandemic. So they know that they need to recapture the market share and make something that everyone's going to like. Because if you get people in on this show, then the more say the 50, 60 million people that said no, Discovery Season 1, I hated it, I'm not going to come back. Those that just didn't ever come back, right? If they see this show and it's getting universal acclaim because it respects Star Trek, properly respects it, then they might say, okay, I'll go in and watch Discovery Season 4, Picard Season 2, and wow, the viewership just jumped. So even if the older seasons aren't quite up to par, everyone will tell them, yeah, but the new stuff's even better. So I think they need to recapture. So it's all about market share, and you know, they know, they're seeing the numbers, and even if the views might be decent, that doesn't equate to money, to subscribers, to you know, it's not all the same thing.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see. Ensign Ricky, another $10. Thank you so much, Ensign Ricky. They said you couldn't kill Spock, but you can if it's written well. They said you couldn't blow up the Enterprise, but you can if it's written well. Discovery can be good, but it's got to be written well. That's excellent. Yes, I absolutely agree with that. Anything can be done well, as long as it's cared about and, you know, shown the respect that it deserves, I think.
And just being thought through, and we'll get into a point in the article in a minute which makes me laugh. And we said
you gotta focus. You gotta focus. You got the Kirk. There you go. You had the Kirk like lovey filter on.
Nice.
Oh, I love you, Samuel. Oh, sorry, I thought I was in love with you for a second there because of the filter. Anywho, Lily Julius, $5. Can't wait to see Strange New Pugs and its pilot episode Pug, the last pup.
It is an addiction, isn't it?
The last
feels like a heavy addiction here.
It does. Olivia, go get help. Sergeant Montgomery, $5. Opinions on this show will be in the same universe as Discovery now. Also, Picard's Season 2 time traveling Q paradox, and will it fix canon issues? Well, the first thing you said we will discuss the same universe as Discovery? It might not be. I saw you pause. Did you hear me?
Vaguely. Sorry.
Hello?
Hello?
There you are. I saw you pause. I guess you didn't hear me, did you?
Mm-mm.
What was the last thing I said?
I was looking at the chat. I don't even know.
Oh, I'll read it again. Opinions on the show being the same universe as Discovery now.
Yes.
Also,
So,
Picard season 2 time traveling. Q paradox will fix that. So what I said was, is it the Discovery universe now? That's something that we might have to talk about here. And as for the Q thing, I mean, anything's possible, right?
He is a god after all.
Wow.
In essence, a god being, yeah.
Carl Barbazzi, 5 pounds. Hey boys. 1, symmetrical uniforms. 2, bridge corridor or window gone. Yeah. 3, straight nacelle pylons. Yep. Those are the check marks.
Doesn't take much, does it?
Yeah.
Doesn't take much.
Nope,
very simple. Very simple.
Yeah.
Nothing elaborate. Nothing difficult.
Even they can do it.
Yeah.
John Woke, $2. Will Strange New Worlds have enough connectedness to Picard season, or like Picard season 2? I mean, connectedness like Picard season 2.
I'm sure we'll see L'Rell at some point, but apart from that, I'd assume.
It'd be cool if she showed up and just looked like a Klingon.
Oh no, I bet they will. I absolutely bet they will. I'll bring it down one more pass because it's been 4 years, therefore her face has totally changed. And her skin tone, her hair colour, her eye makeup, and her lips. Totally different. Hey, 5 years, Presidents age a lot in 4 years. Klingons age a lot in... Well, she's the Chancellor, so she can age a lot. God.
True.
Let her actually act through the damn makeup. Give her actual muscles. Don't plaster her in plaster. Give her actual cheek muscles and eyebrows. God. Sorry. Annoys me.
Snoopy McQueen, $5. Need new aliens and new adventures and smart storytelling, and then I'll be happy. Yeah. Good check marks there, too.
But speaking of happy, this article, this version is Trek movie. Got a Trek movie. Always good. Always love them. We've even met some of them.
Yes.
Nice people, for sure. So let's see if we'll skip the Picard stuff.
Yes.
Because that isn't as important. Let's see. Okay, so this is the first bit then. So, storytelling and directions. If you want to read that out. I'll read the preamble and you can read the main thing. Switching to Strange New Worlds, Goldsman reiterated how they're going in the opposite storytelling direction. Stuart B. Goldsman.
Okay, I'm Akiva Goldsman.
Yes, you are. Hello, showrunner.
Hello.
Have you seen Star Trek before?
No. That's the one with the big walking carpet guy, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Anyway, here's Akiva's quote.
Yeah.
It's really episodic. If you think back to the original series, it was tonally more liberal. I don't mean in terms of politics, but it could sort of be more fluid. Like sometimes Robert Bloch would write a horror episode, or Harlan Ellison would have a City on the Edge of Forever, which is hard sci-fi. But there would be comedic episodes like Shore Leave or Trouble with Tribbles. So co-showrunner Henry Alonzo Myers and myself are trying to serve that. Strange New Worlds is very much adventure of the week, but with serialized character arcs. Which, yes, character arcs should be serialized. That's what characters are for. But considering the nature of the show, going out and exploring Strange New Worlds, episodic is perfect. TNG had it. It's just that's the exploration of Star Trek. Seeing something new every week, solving a problem. And yes, of course, there's going to be overarching serialized storytelling with the crew. That's how you make good, fleshed out characters.
It'll be characters overarching story, but not story overarching story, which is interesting. Yes. I didn't even consider that necessarily as a concept, like being separate. But yeah.
Yep. Olivia Julius, $5. You know what? I do need help. But what kind of help? I know. Time to break into Stuart's quarters and pet the pug, as I think about my problem.
That's one solution.
Julian Penn, $5. Do you two believe we are done seeing Klingons in any new Trek other than Lower Decks? No, we're going to see Klingons again in Strange New Worlds and very likely Discovery at some point.
And in fact, Michael Chabon, I believe, he posted on his Instagram a picture of Sky's Guide to the Enterprise and the Klingon Dictionary. And he's helping to write season 2 of Picard, so there you go.
Perfect.
Although imagine the annoying amount of kudos they'd get if they just had real Klingons again. Like, just for doing what's correct, they'll get a big round of applause and fan appreciation. It's like, but that's how they should look. Why are we applauding you? Oh yeah, because you butchered them in the first place. That's sad, that. That's very sad. Oh my head.
Yeah, but I mean, we do that all the time. Like,
Yep.
yeah,
No,
you get a little bit of an applause, but something you should have been doing all along. So
yes.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe they're like the military. They have to break us first, so that then we appreciate everything they're doing, even though it's what they should have been doing in the first place.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the good thing. So we're gonna have the comedic episodes, the horror elements, the sci-fi elements. It's gonna be a nice mix, which I like. TNG had that as well. Like after a very serious episode, a lot of times you get a silly kind of fun holodeck episode or yes. So I mean, yes, bring that back. That's what we want. That's what I want as a fan. That's what I want to see. So,
but it's interesting his phraseology with this interview, especially. We know Goldsman's writing. He's written some very poor scripts, but you don't know what's him versus studio versus whatever, right? But he's quite eloquent in this interview. I'll give him that credit. He's eloquent. So that's
maybe it's scripted.
I have no idea. But this is so nicely written. Like the way he's saying it is a well elaborated piece, and in fact, the way he's saying this, you kind of realize that they've locked themselves into a box with the other shows, where you get one long story, but for the most part, it stays on a similar train, with more scenes delving into horror, like Icheb's Eye or Giorgio butchering somebody, and then it goes back into normal pace, but it stays consistent. But this actually tells us that he's saying we actually we had our hands behind our back with the other shows because we had to do one sort of thing most of the time. Now we can do every style and have more creative freedom and more creative stories. How is this not a better way of storytelling, the way he's presenting it? Like, we can tell different, interesting, varied stories that will appeal to different people, but also all the people in the universe. Like, you know what I mean? This sounds like such an obvious thing to do. Whereas you look at, like, Season 2 of Discovery, it's a very similar vibe. And you don't think about, really, the comedic and the action. It's just like, oh, there's an action scene, there's a comedic scene, it just all blends together. It's just the scenes. But this sounds like he's really selling it, as if the way they've been doing it, as if the way the TV's been done for 30 years, It's like, it's a new invention doing different stories each week with different tones. It's like, you know what I mean?
Look what we invented. We're going to take all the credit for this.
Yeah.
This is going to work. And
you know what?
We invented it. It hasn't.
Canon.
I love that you said that.
Strange New World, reinventing episodic storytelling for the modern era. It starts here, Stuart.
Dun, dun, dun.
But you know what I mean? It's just when you kind of put it in that perspective, it just sounds absurd in a kind of funny way. What do you guys think?
Well, Dan23 says I don't like TOS Shore Leave. I do. I think it's an awesome episode. It's very fun and lighthearted. And think of Troubles and Trouble Tribbles and things like that. And yeah, you know what? TOS has a lot of horror elements to it. A lot of the stories are very space horror.
Oh, Salt Vampire. Second episode.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Lady
cage is
losing
horror.
her face.
Yeah. It's some real stuff. The only problem with humor is that it's super subjective. You find people that think a commonly appreciated joke is funny, and then you find that one outlier that's not funny. I'm like, but we all think it is, and they're like, yeah, I don't. So you kind of just go with your own gut there because you can't appeal to everybody. You just can't. And I think Shore Leave, it's a certain vibe of humor. So it's not going to win for everybody. But that's why I kind of like clever funny. Not necessarily funny in some of these things. But again, super subjective.
Yeah. And I mean, there's going to be hit and misses with
Lower Decks.
different elements per episode as well, not just the whole tone of the episode. But that could turn some people off for the whole episode. But so
Well, they now have just Blaze said Lower Decks. They're just going to copy Lower Decks. Like, they successfully achieved the episodic varied vibe, and they're going to just, our cartoon did it better. Oh, goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the first part. So the episodic storytelling, the comedic, horrific, dramatic, sci-fi concepts are all coming back.
And and the way he says it, he sounds like he actually understands it, rather than just saying it, which normally what Kurtzman just sounds like he's saying it. There's a difference in tone. And the fact that he also says the two showrunners are on the same page is super important. Because showrunner, as we know, changes the entire direction and can do poor things. So, first, good. A very well eloquently said way of doing it. And we know that's what the Ethan and Anson wanted, episodic, changing vibes. Let them play different sides of their characters, etc., etc. So, second part then, which we like.
Well, before we get into that, we got 2 super chats.
Then ignore what I said to Stuart and talk to the super chats. Because they're the real stars. Ignore
what you said. I'll just put it on the back burner.
There you go.
Matthew DeFritas, $5.
Hi, Matthew.
Wouldn't it be great if in Strange New Worlds we hear about or see an upheaval in Kronos, where the smooth-head Klingons have overthrown the government and are now the leaders? Yes, leading into TOS.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's perfect.
Please. We've already solved the Klingon dilemma a few times during season 1 of Discovery. Whole lives were dedicated to how it could be fixed and done. So, yes.
That's good.
Go showrunners. Anyone working on Star Trek, go check those out, please.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Olivia Julius, $5.
Oh, no.
I've been thinking, and you know what? I think I need a pet dot. Maybe her shaking will get my mind off of Precious. Thank you, Olivia, just for being here. You're amazing.
Very much so. And Nick says, don't they stay about 7 years before Kirk's arrival? At least as captain, that is. No, it's more like 5.5. Discovery skipped quite a lot of time. So it's actually a lot less than you think, which is a little bit frustrating, because you would think the colony should look the same. Well, it should look the same because of the cage, but it should look the same like 6 months before, etc. So
a segue into what we're going to talk about. So you read your part, and then I'll read the quote.
Okay. Goldsman said that his goal of aligning with TOS even extends to the look of the show. Then the interviewer had a heart attack. The next interviewer came in because he was so shocked. So they're making changes from what we see when Pike and the Enterprise were produced in Season 2 of Discovery and Short Treks. The second interviewer put down the gun and was waiting for his answer before he, too, followed his partner and was left hanging.
So changes from the Pike and Enterprise we introduced to in Season 2 of Discovery. So is it a different universe? Is it the Discoveryverse? Is it something new? Because here's the quote. The uniforms have been adjusted slightly. The sets are slightly different. Remember, the Enterprise existed as a little piece of the show Discovery, but now it's its own object and should be one of the stars of the show. This is me interjecting that. A character, if you will. When you close your eyes and think of the key sets and situations that you think of the original series, that's what we're looking to do. So if you close your eyes and exactly. Close your eyes and picture the bridge of the TOS Enterprise.
No. The Enterprise. Just the Enterprise in general. You think that one.
Yes.
Not even like, because it's Enterprise D if it's Enterprise D. Just the Enterprise of that era. It's always TOS.
Yeah. And that is super hopeful and optimistic, because one of the things Samuel's been saying all along is, they're going to make a new bridge set. And I'm like, they're not, though, because they built that one and it's a waste of resources if they use. He's like, nope, they had to take it down. They had to put it in storage. They're going to redo it. And I'm like, no. So Samuel, I'm going to give you props on this. If we see that bridge for the first time and it looks amazing, I am going to bow to the master and say you were right, because I honestly don't have hope for that. As much as this is saying, I think there'll be subtle changes, but I think that corridor is still going to be there. I think they're going to try to bring it more in line visually, but here's hoping that you're right and they do make it very TOS like.
Well, and this phrase, this paragraph again doesn't feel like Kurtzman sort of throwing, fish into the water and let the shark bite and turns out it's vegetarian. You're like, oh, you haven't really fed the shark at all. This feels like he's actually saying something real because he actually was part of the decision making process because he was showrunner, so he got to make the choice over Kurtzman. So he knew that's what fans wanted, and therefore he's giving it to them. I think it's a very sweet way of saying it because he's addressed everything there, and like slightly can mean slightly, but the uniforms are so close anyway. There isn't much to slightly change. That's the irony. There isn't much you can do.
Collar.
I mean, there's.
I was expecting the thumbnail you gave me to have like the photoshopped collar again to be correct because after I read the thing, I'm like, yeah.
I didn't think how far ahead, to be honest.
That's all it takes, honestly. But
yeah, well, it's that, and maybe the braids like fabric again. That's it. And maybe cut some lines out, like because there might be new made uniforms because they may have put on weight in quarantine, different fabric maybe, etc. There's things you can do because in reality, everything should feel more TOS because it is closer to TOS. TOS is not retconned out. TOS has always existed. So at the very least, if it's one step closer, that should be logically what they do. Any other show would do that. Logically.
The thing here.
Yeah.
The thing here is we're going to have to, if that does happen, we're going to, and let's say this does fall more in line with Prime. So like, yes, this is clearly Prime now. Or
updated
a visual update of Prime. Exactly. That'd be great. But then you got to take into account that in Discovery, they did show the original opening for the cage, the original bridge. And it's like, okay, well, so it went from that to this in that universe. Like, we're going to have another divergent point for another universe thing, which is fine, I guess. But I just want to put that out there that was a thing that was established in Discovery as being that's how it looked.
Yeah, but they didn't.
Which is good, but
they also like had the wrong Pike chair. Like the Pike chair wasn't the same, etc. I mean, you could have more than one Pike chair, but there's visual reboot is visual reboot. So basically, what they're thinking is unlike Discovery, which is one piece of the puzzle, and that was to try and reboot the network. And Picard is something different. And we learned some stuff in here that's really, oh my god, about Picard, holy shit. But this is actually a show which obviously they want to go on season, and I guarantee they at least want to go 4 seasons to say they can beat TOS number of seasons, because that's a pride thing. If we have more, if all of the new Trek shows have more than 3 seasons, we all beat TOS. They can say that as a bragging rights. At least we got more seasons than TOS.
Unless for respect purposes, they're aiming for 3-season story, and then that's when Kirk comes on board, and you can recast a new young Kirk or something, and then do something completely different.
It's true. Stranger Worlds does not make it Captain Pike. That is true. Sure.
Yeah.
But it'd still be the same show, just repackaged. But it's they need to set a standard going forward, and that's the thing about having, they put the money into the Enterprise bridge set because they know they had to, and they blew a lot of money, but they spent quite a lot of time on it. All the other sets of redresses it one way or another. This is a fresh budget, and you have tens of millions to play with. And these are sets you're going to be able to use all year, every year. And different directors on board, you're going to have different lighting people because it's a different team. Mm-hmm. So, the corridor on the bridge was just because Kurtzman said I wanted it. So if Akiva Goldsman says I don't want it, that's the only reason it'd be gone. Because originally, all the people did design it the exact same scale as the Enterprise Bridge, and then they upped it for no reason. Well, because Kurtzman wanted it. So it's the simplest thing to add, simplest thing to remove. So I get the feeling... I think the colour scheme would be a little bit more colourful and brighter, like a little bit. Lose the corridor, lose some of the shine. I think it'll be similar but toned down a bit. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if the costumes are different fabric to try and look different to the Discovery ones, like a bit more softer fabric, because they look a bit too crisp, a bit too futury. And then obviously, I still believe that it makes sense for them to build the exact corridor layout of TOS. Build this, because it's not a big set, but I said this to someone else the other day. If you build the same set of sets, so every room is the same size, every corridor is the same size, every angle is the same angle, then
I feel like Trek.
Then as soon as you move a camera from the transporter room along that corridor to the engineering or whatever, it will actually have a certain feel that you can only replicate by having the real set layout, because those are the angles. Even if you then say, okay, the walls aren't grey now, maybe they're now silver with panel lines and buttons. Okay. but it's been captured in that framework. If you make everything 40% larger and everything twice as tall, it won't feel like it at all. So it's a very easy win, and I do not mind if they visually update things. It's an easy thing to do. But if they can build all those sets in one big thing like TOS and be able to move from them as they did, that will be so much production value and so much vibe. Even to the point where I could see them linking the turbolift to the bridge. Because if they were really clever, you make every single set 360, which the Discovery ones are, but you actually make the turbolift be able to turn, so you can actually walk on the bridge in one long shot, vroom, 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 as it's physically turning, and then open into the corridor. So you can actually walk from one set to the other, and no breaking illusion. How mind F would that be, in terms of cool value? And that is not hard, by any means. Like, that simple one change, those walk talks might be to get even more epic. That's what I have to be thinking. Not how to reinvent the wheel, just how do you make the wheel even shinier and a bit more clever. And that's a simple thing.
How do you pimp out the wheel?
Get them pimps.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely fantastic. Hashtag get rid of the corridor cavern turbolift, but anyway.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. And I love that idea. Like, you build the exact set layout because we've been on it. We've seen it. We know what it is. It's simplistic enough. It's big enough. It works. It worked for all those shows. And you're right. You move a camera through that. You've got the same feeling as TOS, even if it's just subconsciously.
Yep.
You're not doing something way outside the box. Even with the new modern filming techniques and modern cameras and all that shit, you've got the basic framework there of the sets around you to keep everything encapsulated. So, yes.
And if I was them, I would actually double the corridor layout. So you do a mirror image. They can keep walking, and then you have more corridor and more rooms. Because again, the mind effery of being able to keep walking. Because these sets aren't expensive compared to the Discovery ones. And if you, rather than go for height and width, go for same size but more, can you imagine doing like a 2-minute walk and talk through multiple sets, through engineering, through sickbay, through fake turbolifts that connect two corridors that you get a visible vroom, vroom, vroom. I mean, you just don't ever get that, and that would give it the movie feel with very little extra overhead, And even to the point, if they really made it like kind of the Firefly set, each of those ladders actually goes up to a second floor. So you can literally follow them as a camera guy and then follow them into some Jeffries tubes and then be able to like push down in a room. Like, really build it cleverly. And it's not reinventing, but it's putting money into the wheel,
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
And it's practical, and that's important.
Yes. All right, so we got a few super chats. We're going to get to those right now. Thank you so much, guys. Keep it coming. And by the way, hit the like button. We have 236 people here with 157 likes. Let's get to 200 likes, guys. We can definitely do that. So please hit that.
I mean, at least a like spike for the green screen. Come on, I want to see 200.
Yes. Captain Chili Beana, $5. Do you know anything about the co-showrunner Myers? I haven't heard of him. Hoping he raises the bar for Akiva. I haven't heard anything of him, but I don't know much about these kind of behind-the-scenes people.
I think the one I did know about was the Picard showrunner who has worked on Voyager, so I will Google him now.
Okay. The Sporkmeister, $5. Cautiously optimistic that Star Trek might truly feel like Star Trek again. Hey, that's our catchphrase. Cautiously optimistic. But yes, we totally agree with you. I mean, I love the name, by the way, Sporkmeister.
He does have a pretty good IMDb, but nothing that would be relevant to this. But he's worked these are all as producer in either high up, low up, or medium, right? Charmed, CSI, Daybreak, Ugly Betty, Chuck, GCB, The Carrie Diaries, Covert Affairs, and The Magicians. And all of them are more than 10, and some more than 50 credits. So that's some legit big shows with some legit big roles in. And they're not exactly Star Trek, but I mean, Ugly Betty and Chuck, I can easily argue are good shows. So he has quality under the belt, if not sci-fi. But he can be, as I keep saying to you, good stories happen to be in the Trek universe.
Just have a canon Bible, and people that'll fact check. That's all you need.
Yes.
Matt Boardman, $5. Thank you so much, Matt. I really hope they follow through on this. I have found this group to be good at lip service, but not so good at following through on it. Oof. Well, I mean, odds are they've, like Samuel said, they've started filming already. They're on the sets. They're doing the things. So to say this, if they had said this a year and a half ago,
Oh yeah.
and they hadn't been filming yet, I'd say, okay, yeah, we're still very much out. But considering they're doing things, he wouldn't say this and then not deliver, at least on some of it, even if it's his version of how it should be delivered.
Because he can now be proven wrong like that when the trailer comes out. Whereas previously they said, oh no, things changed in production.
Yeah, exactly.
And you build the sets at the start.
Yeah.
The Enterprise is built first. That's been locked for a few weeks.
Don't forget, Anson Mount tweeted a picture of the TOS Enterprise, one of Rob Bonchoon's images, and says one of the real star of the show. And it was not the Discovery Enterprise, it was the actual TOS Enterprise. That was like, okay, maybe he's an actor, he doesn't know. He just found the first picture of the Enterprise he found. But you know, I'm hopeful for a new canon Enterprise.
Remember, he did make the effort to get paid to go to the. I say that because he's an actor, gets paid to go to Corley's sets, and he did a tour. So he has been on the Enterprise sets, the real one. So he does. You know, he's not. There's no illusion to him which Enterprise is the original Enterprise. Like, he's lived both, abstractly one, and paid the other. I guess paid both. But again, the fact that he says the uniforms were slightly adjusted, the sets are slightly different, and yeah, Enterprise was a small part. It feels like a big part, but it was a tiny part. But now it's the hero. And this set was fully featured, so how to make it even more whatever. Yeah, but the fact, those who I think of the Enterprise, I mean, that must be... It's like we've said since literally day one of this Discovery journey. It should be... You squint your eyes and you see the Enterprise, and you sort of like focus them. Oh, look at all the detail that was there that was never really there. It should be the same but more detailed, and that's their way of succeeding here. But the people never let them do that on Discovery because look at the bridge. So, God, it's such an easy thing to get right.
Yes, well, here's hoping. Olivia Julius, $5.
Stuart,
make sure you hit...
Do you think she's going to say pug?
I'll wager money on it.
Well, I think she is wagering money on this.
All right. I said I'll wager money on it, maybe $5. I saw it froze, so. So Olivia Julius, $5. Make sure you all hit like. Yes, very important. We need another 21 likes to get to 200, guys. Hit that like button if you haven't. If you did double check, make sure it's. If you did double check and make sure it's blue. Remember, if you do not do it, the pug will be upset. Sorry. I fell through that super chat and hit every word on the way down, so I apologize. Sergeant Montgomery, $10.
Ooh, thank you.
Star Trek always had a way of background intertwined crew stories that always carried over through the series, no matter what the plot was. I believe Goldsman will bring back true Trek storytelling. Yes, say that, but TOS didn't even do that. TOS was not good with its characters, really, and their stories continuing on,
well,
you know.
TOS does it that you can pick out a few examples, and then you realize, oh wait, those are the examples.
Those are, the only,
The exception to the rule is what, TNG did it more, but again, less. None of them really do it. And even Discovery, you think they do it, but they just reset their characters. So they're not really doing it, they just looks like doing it, but they're not.
12 more likes, guys. 12 more likes.
Oh, yes. Come on.
Gareth Rooney, €5.
Gareth.
This universe was created by a temporal incursion created by a Pakled mining ship. Love it.
And that would be a great fan film. Remake the start of 09 and have it be Pakled instead. That would make so much more sense. Oh, that'd be excellent.
Sturm von Ulk, $5.
Thank you.
Commander, much prefer the TOS look, even though you are mirrored, as opposed to Boris Johnson look you had on April 1st. Or in the suit.
Anyone can wear a suit with a red tie. I know what you mean, but anyone can wear a red tie. You know?
Yeah. Fleet Paw Swiftback, $2. I'm here. Do I get to skip the court-martial?
No.
Yes, we won't court-martial. Oh.
Let's half court-martial you. Oh, that's fair.
Okay. Yeah. We'll pretend to court-martial you for the first half, and then we'll let you. Yeah, it'll be fine.
Well, no, we'll court-martial you, but the paperwork gets lost in translation, so you keep your job.
Works for me. Ensign Ricky, $2. I wonder if Strange New Worlds will end with a Menagerie remake.
Oh, well,
Hey,
no, that was years ago though. Because
what do you
Cage was
mean?
Cage was pre.
Yeah.
And Menagerie is quite a lot future, like a lot future. I don't know how that would make sense.
Well, it's just flash forward to refilm
Some
parts of it at least,
right.
and actually see what happens. Yeah, see what the continuation of them dropping Pike off there, him going down with Vina.
No, you've got me there. You've got me solved there.
And that's how the series will end, with seeing Pike happy with anything he wants, kind of thing. So that'd be great, actually. Yes, I like it.
If Pike's actually the hero of the tale, like Strange New Worlds, unlike Star Trek Picard, is about Picard versus. So that yeah, and we've obviously got the Vina actress, and she was great. We've got the new look for the whatever. That'd be cool. Yeah, I'd be all for that. That'd be
fun. Kai L. Wong,
hey,
5.
Good to see you.
Just joined. What are we talking about? All the exciting new news about Strange New Worlds from an interview with Akiva Goldsman, and them visually updating the uniforms and ship and interiors to look.
And it doesn't just feel like pandering for the first time.
So fingers crossed, guys. Not a band account. $2.
Thank you.
Will we get to see a young Kirk from the Farragut? I'm betting yes. Even though they say they're probably not going to do that, I absolutely think they will. Even if it's just a small little reference, something like that. There's going to be something like that in there. I'm sure of it. Because they said we weren't going to get Spock. We got Spock. So
it'll be all about ratings and reviewership. If people love it, that shows it can stand on its own. The fact that we've got Q in season 2 shows Picard can't stand on its own. Q is a massive crutch to fall back on. You know?
Yeah. A lot of people were calling for Q for season 1, so.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the Borg in First Contact. Generations wasn't as good as they all thought it should have been. So let's bring back the crutch of the Borg. But they did a good story, so it was, it's fine. But that was like, let's go back to our most popular thing to make a popular movie. You know what I mean? So for this, if it's popular, no. But honestly, I think the best way of doing it, Kirk is not a nobody, but he's not an important guy yet. If you're going to see him, have him be like, don't spoil that he's going to be in it. Have it be a secret. Have the actor be in like 4 episodes of the Farragut, and we're like, oh, is one of these guys Kirk? But there's like 10 white guys that talk to them. There's no big deal. And at the end, it's like the main one is actually Kirk, and at the end they just say, so what do you think of that Ensign? Oh yeah, Ensign Kirk was good. Yeah, I thought he was too. Move on. Like, have it be but in a very respectful way. You know what I mean? That's how I would play it personally. Don't make him be. But again, they wouldn't want to make the straight white guy a powerful guy. Really, that's not their vibe. So, even though he's Kirk.
I like your idea though.
Yeah. But you can't really have the Farragut without being obviously. We think the Kirk's there, so it's kind of a lose there a little bit with the surprise aspect. Unless they go to a star base and there's like 4 orbiting ships and one's a Farragut, and it's like, oh, this guy's Kirk, but they even
or you see them like side by side with the ships for cutscenes. You never see the name of the ship. They never reference it. Yeah. And then at the end you see it like take off, and you see the Farragut like right by camera.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Oh, bastards!
And it's just some young ensign, handsome guy that's quite good at his job.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, yeah, that's good. Yeah, no, I like that. That's a good way of doing it.
Yeah. Olivia Julius, $5. Let me say this in code. Pet ugly golden geese yeti. Pet ugly golden geese yeti. Sweet. Feetboss went back $5. 201. Yes. Oh yes, we hit 200. Thank you guys. Keep hitting that like button though. I'm sure we can get 240. Please tell me the uniform refresh deletes the hideous collars and brings back more TOS like boots. We're hoping. The collar is the obvious thing, because the collar is the obvious thing. But Samuel was saying earlier, new material would be nice. Not so many like pleats and lines.
Yeah, that's
yeah. That's no brainer actually. But the boots. Never even considered the boots. But you're right.
Yeah, just slightly different, more fabric-y feeling fabric, and then lose the collar and lose the lines. Great, because they are, as we know, they are just recolored Discovery uniforms. That was the whole point. They're not new uniforms; they're just recolored Discovery. And I think maybe we were considering even to add those side pouch details until right at the end. And someone said, no, we can't do that. We've got to keep them TOS. It's like, well, of course you do. Why is that even a question?
Yeah. Well.
Yes, there's more, obviously, but not right there. But we can jump into the Q stuff.
On the same article?
Yes.
Okay, let's do that then.
It's some interesting stuff, which means I can... I'm not going to swap to TNG, but I'll un-TOS myself.
Kai L. Wong, £5. For your information, YouTube isn't sending me reminders of your stuff. I had to randomly check your channel. Yeah, not a surprise there. We've heard that from multiple people, and just did a rant alert on that YouTube 2 weeks ago. Speaking of, guys, tomorrow on the Captain Foley personal channel will be the new rant alert episode on the PlayStation 5.
The PlayStation 5?
Yes. So check it out, guys.
Why you laugh?
Matt Boardman, $5. Also, it would be nice to not have everything in the show have the Delta symbol on it. Ha! I know, right? Well, we'll see. We'll see. So, honestly, guys, I'm excited to hear this news because this kind of made my day.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you. It is such a small thing, but it speaks volumes. I think that's why they're maybe holding it from us, because they want to have something really impressive to show when they first show a trailer. They didn't want to give anything away. They didn't want to tip their hand, I think.
Like I said, this is their big show. This is going to be their big thing. So, wait, do it properly, and then get people in.
Well, so now we have some...
Although there are slightly more quotes, as someone pointed out in the Hollywood Reporter article, so I can bring that up. Because they also talk about directing the pilot, which, just briefly continue with that.
Do they?
They ask, you're directing the pilot, which is always a major privilege and also a lot of pressure. How has that gone so far, and what were you looking to bring to that? We'll just swap out of this, and you can read that.
If I can find it, sure. Where is he in the article? It's not the same article that I have, so it's unlike the other shows. It's not very episodic. I read that already. Storytelling. Sorry, guys. You're surrounded by people who would be perfectly happy to be on the floor of a Star Trek convention, which is a little different than a typical show. Obviously, we want to keep continuity with the storytelling and the style, but we also want strange new worlds to be a different show. It's not Discovery. There are a few more reachbacks to the original series, and the uniforms have been slightly adjusted. The sets have been slightly different. Enterprise, we read that one already. Yeah, I don't have the article he has, so I can't continue from there. So, hold on, let me see if I can read what. Yeah, I have a different article, so I couldn't read where you left off.
Back to Trekyards, Stuart. Back to Trekyards. Way.
Yay.
What?
Yeah, I was going to say I couldn't read where you left off. So just this, what's on screen here?
Yep.
It was super fun, and I've finished almost all of it. There were certain scenes that we couldn't shoot in Toronto because of quarantine. In terms of limits on the number of extras in a scene, I'll back and finish pretty soon, I hope. But there's something extraordinary about a bunch of folks coming together to do a new thing. You're surrounded by people who would be perfectly happy on the floor of a Star Trek convention, which is a little different than a typical show. I did read that quote because it's in the one article here, but so yeah, exciting.
So yeah, pilot almost filmed, and they can go back and do finish the shooting. That's good though. It means at least the first two, and those tend to set the direction.
Yeah. Well, welcome back to Trekyards, Samuel. You look different.
I do.
More British.
Yes, good sir. Jolly good. Tip to-roo.
Yes.
But there was I'll read this next bit because I thought it was, and yes, obviously the Trek movie did truncate things a little bit. This is when Akiva was asked about the changes to the set design, uniforms, etc. He said, yes, it's a fine line, because obviously we want to keep continuity with the storytelling and the style. But we also want Strange New Worlds to be a different show. It's not Discovery, and there are a few more reach-backs to the original series. They continues. So again, that's, it's tricky, because he doesn't, they can't commit to, their old show made mistakes visually that we want to move away from. So being very diplomatic with that, but saying fundamentally TOS needs to come first as the art design, because
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Starship Horizon though throws in
Ooh.
£5.
Good name.
Thank you so much, Starship Horizon.
I know that name, as in my show's got Horizon 2.
Yeah, that's right. Wouldn't mind seeing how Pike became captain of the Enterprise. Maybe see a switch over on the Yorktown with Matt Decker before he transfers across. They have the possibility for doing that, obviously, for doing like a flashback. So yes, absolutely, we'd love to see more of Pike's career. It's kind of a shame that it's limited as it is where it sits to 5 years, because you might not have the 7-year series if that's what they wanted to go for. But I'm all for that kind of thing. So yes.
Yeah.
Fleet Pass Swiftback, $2. True, Starfleet Delta isn't a Nike swoosh. LOL. Not a band account, $2. Can we expect a darker and grittier 23rd century? Probably slightly. I mean, it's probably not going to be as squeaky clean as TOS was, because that was a lot of Gene Roddenberry. Everything's got to be perfect. The crew can't have conflicts with each other. That's kind of his mantra. I'm sure we're going to see a little bit more. I think it's going to maintain the TOS positivity and vibe, but I think you're going to get a lot more of the little dark, gritty stuff in there for sure. Yes.
Well, they certainly ruined the Klingon Cold War by doing Discovery.
They did.
So, given the fact that Klingons have unlimited cloaking ability, which they can't detect, they can only detect Takuvmas, but they did stuff before and after that, whatever. Klingon ships are bigger, stronger, and more powerful. 2/3 of the fleet has been destroyed or whatever. So, you can't have the Klingons either be a real threat or be too much a threat. And it's also quicker to get to their planet because they truncated the universe. So there is no Cold War. They ruined that. So they either got to re-establish that. Otherwise, you could have had a nice, gritty, solid Klingon tension by, showing that real Civil War, that real Cold War. But they ruined that. They can't. And I say really, they can retcon everything quite happily again, to be able to be good. Like maybe in episode 1 they say, we can detect all, Klingon ships have decided not to use cloaks anymore because we can detect through them. Like fully, maybe retcon that, and then they say they're focused on military, and I don't know, but yeah, it's that would have been fun, because that is like in TNG, the grittiness of this Cardassian border war that we never got to see. Would have been interesting to see. That would have been interesting. Yeah. And TOS never really had this gritty Klingon thing until the movies. That would have been interesting, and there, right there. And because they wouldn't have to retcon things in the sense of Enterprise, where we can't meet Tholians or Gorn, but we can have the Klingon neutral stuff. But nah.
James McGill, $2. Hopefully we'll see new TOS style starships in Strange New Worlds. Hey, I'd be down for seeing a single nacelled scout or something, or dare I say, a 3 nacelle dreadnought. That would be awesome. Even if it's just background, just like no attention drawn to it. I'd be happy, but I'm sure we'll see some new stuff. That would be ideal. Whether it'll happen, I honestly don't know. I think that it's probably a good play on their part because we never saw the TOS fleet, and I think bringing that in, if they've managed to update the aesthetic to the point where it looks TOS again, yes, they need to include a few more ships. I think that'd be fantastic.
Well, they can sell models.
Exactly. Eagle Moss for the win.
I mean, these aren't the things we've been saying.
Well, there's going to be another Enterprise, hopefully, that we can all buy.
Yeah. And we saw,
So.
they weren't afraid to change the Discovery in the middle of a show. So to think, any assertion we would have had to say, oh no, they're going to keep the Enterprise the same, kind of thrown out the window because they did change the hero ship, Discovery, quite drastically. So there's a precedent for, we know, we'll change it, and that's great. That's exactly what you want,
They seem to be aware of what they might have done wrong in the past. So.
Okay. Trial and error.
Right. So we want to switch gears to Picard season 2 now?
And this one made me technically it's about season 1, but I love this quote to pieces. Makes me happy on the inside because I was right every week, every day, every hour.
Is it the first quote? Is it the first quote on the Star Trek movie one?
Yeah, I'll quote. I'll read the question. So, switching to Picard, what did you guys learn from the first season in terms of pulling off the show you're bringing into season 2?
That's an article I don't have. Okay, hold on. I will just have to. All right, figure out the end earlier. If you're going to do serialized show, you have the whole story before you start shooting. It's more like a movie in that way. You better know the end of your third act before you start filming your first scene. Wow, did they just go to filmmaking school? Oh my God, that's ridiculous beyond ridiculous.
And what did I say for 2.5 months?
I know.
And you agreed.
I hear you.
I give you credit as well, but you cannot get more confirmation than, oh yeah, we didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
Remember, Stuart, 3-season arc, but you didn't know where the first season was going to end. How can you start a second season without knowing where the first season arc ends? Bullshit. Again, they keep lying. Why do you think we don't respect them when they lie? Constantly. And there's really interesting information later on down this that is, again, shocking. I was shocked by his candor. I'll send you the piece now because I don't want you to be confused again. But how interesting is that, though? And considering that Patrick Stewart was in the writer's room at least once, part of the conversation, clearly whatever idea was pitched was left away, clearly wasn't developed, and you wonder why the reports of him not knowing his own death until a week before filming. Yeah, and you don't kill off Picard unless you plan that, unless it means something. And because it was a new thought they just threw in, it clearly won't mean anything in season 2 because it was never a plan. There's no plan. Why would you not plan?
You must always have a plan, Samuel. You must always have a plan.
Especially if you write the guy as dying, and he's the most important character in the franchise, give or take. And you've got Data, the other most important character in the franchise of TNG. You've both those people, you don't plan the ending? So that scene with them is not planned. I mean, maybe that was one of the few planned things, but that's shocking. They started shooting before they knew the end.
That's sad, is what it is.
Absolutely unbelievable. It's really unbelievable.
Wow.
It's not surprising. It's obvious from the show. Like,
I think same thing can be said for a trilogy of movies. I mean, Star Wars, let's be fair, there was a lot that George Lucas wrote that didn't make it into the first movie, but he didn't have the whole arc complete by any means. He kind of did that going as he progressed, but having a clear end goal for anything is important. And yeah, I can't believe that they're like proud of the fact that they're like,
they've learned.
Hey, we know what we're doing now. We listen to people.
Look, it took us 130 million to learn we should write the ending along with the beginning.
Yeah.
And that's worse than we thought. We thought they were just doing reshoots to fix the ending. No, they didn't even have it. So they couldn't even plan for it. And this is why Discovery Season 3 feels more conducive, because it actually was planned. They actually did have it all the way through. You know? That's obviously the problem with serialized stories. If they're episodic, it doesn't matter so much. You can write the first 12, have a good time, decide where you want to go based on how things flow, and then you write it. If you have everything revolving around the storyline, like any scriptwriter should know the beginning and the end first. Where are you starting? Where are you going to go? The middle is the fun bit. That's where you have that fun, cool drama. I know where all my stories are going as soon as I pitch them, even if it's just and they live, you know. Because often that can be it. They win the battle through a space battle. That's enough of a thing to know. Okay, we've got a focused endpoint.
Yeah.
Be so honest here, because Kurzman wouldn't be this honest. I think he's trying to get cred for the fans. that I think he's trying to, because he wants to build his own side franchise. Because he's got the show that everyone wanted. If this goes really well, he'll get credit for that. This is a way of him, you know what I mean? Because he wasn't there fully for Picard, so he can call him out but not take all the blame. Oh, it's interesting.
Yeah. Fleet Pass Swiftback, $5. Would love seasons 1 and most of season 2 of Discovery to be retconned out somehow. Don't know how, but it would be nice.
Yep.
Discoverse, its own thing. Yeah. Not a band account, $5. We need a series about the most historically important character in all of Starfleet. Star Trek O'Brien. #CBS. #more Trek.
Star Trek O'Brien,
yeah. Fleet Pass Swiftback, $5. I have to laugh at the figure out at the end earlier. Like, what the actual F? I'm not a screenwriter, and I know that. Idiots. Fuck my life. Well, see, here's the thing, though. Some of the best, well, I don't know, best, but like best of both worlds. They didn't have an ending planned for that when they wrote part 1, so they really had to scramble to kind of get a good closer for that. Which did it hit? We kind of said not really. So same thing with The Matrix. The Matrix came out and it was amazing. But it was so popular and so great that they needed to continue it on, and it petered out a little bit and lost its gusto. So yeah, when you if you don't have something planned because you're not sure how successful it's going to be, that's a problem. But at the same time, it also gives you creative ideas to close it out, because you have a time limit. You need to get that part 2 out. So,
but the problem with their examples, they prove the opposite, because those are both radical examples where there was a reason why they couldn't plan.
Yes.
And things went a bit wrong because they weren't, best of both worlds. They didn't know if they were going to get Picard back, because they couldn't think far beyond. And they don't break the stories of the next season until they finish the season, have a break, come back in. Even if they knew what they may have wanted to do, they wouldn't know until they started writing, so they were not able to really plan that. And you don't tend to plan those things necessarily all the time. And then Matrix, they didn't plan for more than one, but they were told to. It was always a one-parter, and then it got popular. So that was never planned in. Whereas Picard, it was a season of television that was serialized that you're filming. It isn't the end of a season. Like, we can forgive Discovery to not know how season 4 begins when filming season 3. That's fine. That's fine. But to not know where season 1 ends when filming season 1. You're shooting yourself in the foot while you're on one foot, while you're half naked, while the other half is painted in barbecue sauce in a line enclosure. You're not going to survive that. Sorry.
If that's how you want to make content, do episodic. Because you don't need to have that finish, that angle. You can...
Yep.
Yeah.
Or do it in batches. Do 3, 3, 3, and then by that point you know what you're doing. It's just remarkable. Yeah.
Kyle Wong, £5. No plan with Star Wars as well.
And that was a great, we love the different
trilogy.
And briefly on that, we know that Daisy Ridley said, she remembers the day she was told she's Palpatine's granddaughter, which was clearly not from any other days. Whereas, you see the occasional interview where Kathleen or Jay just said, "Oh yeah, it was always an idea from the start." And it's like, if it was, you would have told Daisy at the start, in the second film, while prepping the third film. No, just when she got the script. You would have told the actress at some point. This is a possibility. Because there are lots of possibilities. You're liars.
Tuning 3434, €2. Bismarck always had a plan.
What's the Bismarck?
Well, it's a German warship, but I think they're talking about Otto von Bismarck. I don't know. I think he was I don't know. I'm not good on my history with that one, so.
And I'm going to ask you another question.
Not sure exactly what you're referring to.
I'm going to ask you another question, Stuart. Oh, sorry, I mean Akiva Goldsman. It felt like another bit of fan feedback from the first, and I did send this to you on Facebook, so it's in your.
Yes, I got it.
It felt like another bit of fan feedback from the first season of Picard and the first couple of seasons of Discovery was they were overcomplicated. That Discovery season 3 seemed more directly focused on the burn and was better received. Is that fair?
Certainly, there are different levels of complication over the seasons of Discovery. And I'm just a friend of the court at this point on Discovery. After season 1, I started trying to excavate this Picard idea, but no, I think where our storytelling is complicated is it is frustratingly so. It's just our own fault for not doing it well enough. The great thing about plot complication and character excellence is that they should be mutually exclusive. Shouldn't be mutually exclusive, sorry. Even a really complicated plot should ultimately become invisible. That's sort of the job of it. Chinatown being the example that we all endlessly lean on in our imaginations. The plot for Chinatown is really complex and complicated, yet at the end of the day, you just remember it's about water. There's this elegant disappearing act so the characters can shine. Early on, we made the choice to be agnostic when it came to the audience's knowledge of Trek. We want to welcome somebody who knows Trek and make it even better because of the things we have, but we don't want to alienate those who don't. If you know Next Generation, Picard is more fun, but you don't have to have watched Next Gen to watch Picard. But by the time we get to episode 6, you better have watched episodes 1 through 5 or your eyes are going to cross. That's not true with Strange New Worlds, where you can drop in, watch one, drop out, then watch another one later. Wow, what a concept. And I think that's one of the reasons that Star Trek has actually worked over the years, because you don't necessarily have to watch back-to-back episodes, unless you're watching DS9.
Or
DS9's kind of those are kind of the outliers as far as, well, that's developing towards this new form of storytelling that everything's doing now, though. Mm-hmm. But I think that's what made, especially when it's playing in syndication and stuff and wasn't on a streaming service, you might miss it one week, you might catch it the next week, and you still become invested in the characters and the idea of the show. So it's that whole thing made me laugh, because it's like, really? You don't understand this? Oh well. Here we are, back again. Storytelling 101.
And Darth Maul, of course Darth Maul's getting involved, the prickly-headed bastard. Starting to sound like Kurtzman's being thrown under the bus. Yeah, seriously, like, I think he's trying to get fan credit, because he wasn't the main guy there. He could have steered the ship, but he couldn't have really changed the overall course, and so he's actually being quite distinctive. I'm kind of annoyed by the questioner's actual question, say, overcomplicated for the stories. They weren't overcomplicated, they were poorly conceived. There's a difference. And jumbled, because they were jumbled in editing, filming, and conception. They weren't overcomplicated. Like, TNG is more complicated, DS9 is more complicated often, but they're just poorly executed, yeah. But, he does manage to dodge that answer, but still actually answering that, yeah, season 1 and 2, I was just sort of there for, moving on. It's interesting. It's very interesting.
VPOS Swift back $10.
Ooh, thank you.
Hi, I'm Badgie, and I'm going to teach you a lesson today. I'm going to show you how to actually write a TV series and how to make it actually enjoyable. And then I'm going to bathe in your blood.
Then I'm going to bathe in Klingork's blood!
Livia Julius, $5. Star Trek Precious tackles the hard issues in life. Do we really have to sleep all day, every day? Yes. Yes, we do. Matt Boardman, $5. I will say, in fairness to Discovery Season 1, when I was on, we knew how many episodes, and then they started adding episodes onto the season, messing things up. Yeah, the that's the restructuring of the co-executive producers and all that shit, and just, yeah, you can always feel when something feels tacked on, and you can see the shuffling of the deck a little bit. So, Zack Snyder's Justice League is a perfect example of that. The things that were filmed and not, I don't know. I'm going to shut up now because I don't work in the industry.
Well, yeah, Brian had his 10 episodes, and then they got cut up, butchered, added more because they couldn't fix it. They couldn't, or they're fix it, and it shows.
Yeah, it's disjointed storytelling, and it's quite obvious because Because if you have questions while you're watching something, they're not doing their job if they don't answer them by the end of the show. You know, so it's good to have questions during some like thrillers and things like that. But as long as they get answered by the end, which a lot of times they do, that's good storytelling. Anywho, I'm back now. Eugene, 500 rubles. If you know Next Gen, Picard is more fun. Weird definition of fun. Has this been written by us?
Yeah, I thought that did strike out to me. I mean, some bits are more. I mean, the Picard and Troy mean something. Without TNG, that means nothing. They're just people he knows. Like if you haven't, Troy, yeah. If you haven't
said Picard and Troy.
Sorry, yeah, Riker and Troy. If you haven't seen TNG, then you think, oh, he must know Clancy from the old show. He must know Troy from the old show. He must know the Doctor guy from the Stargates from the old show. And you're like, no, they're new. Who's this Data guy? Yeah. We don't care. He's a friend he knew. Like the whole show's based around data and androids and Starfleet Romulans. How is it not? Failed concept from the start.
Yeah.
But anyway, you're bringing back Q, but Picard is pretty different. It's a pretty different show tonally. Next Generation. So how do you evolve Q like you evolve Jean-Luc, so that he's still the same character but not overly broad or cartoonish? Or did you really evolve Picard or just screw him up a little bit? And why would you evolve Q given he's a timeless being that doesn't change because he's timeless?
Well, you asked the exact right question, and the answer is in the same way that we have tried to do with Picard himself.
Make him old, decrepit, and sad.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Terry Metalis, and I don't pretend that the interstitial years didn't happen. No, obviously, chronologically, time is less relevant to Q. The time between shows is probably not even a blink of an eye in Q time. If you even have Q time. But we definitely chose to follow suit when it came to him. So, as we tried to evolve the other characters, the same is true of Q. This is a show of a different time with actors of a different age. We're now talking about issues that come up in the last stage of your life. We wanted a Q that could play in that arena with Picard. So they're going to be smart and make Q appear older and be able to talk to Picard, I guess, about aging in life, last stage of your life. Is Q dying too? Dun dun. No, of course not.
Yeah, it was certainly a reasonably smart answer. Although he starts it by saying Q's are timeless, and then by then saying no, we're gonna make him be old as well, which is he kind of, but hopefully is just looking older, not actually being older. Like it should still be the exact same Q, just visibly looking older and dealing with Picard in a different way. Because remember, it's Q who's choosing to go into Picard's future, not the other way around. So, Q is still Q from Voyager, from that's when we saw him. So it's an okay answer. It could be better, but it would be giving stuff away if you didn't say it. Like, if you say he hasn't changed at all, that would be telling you something about the storyline, etc. Trickster God, as all, and all. But what was the inspiration for bringing him on board? What made him right, character-wise?
There are a lot of people who think Q is a trickster god, right? And he is, but he's also a profoundly significant relationship in Picard's life. There's a lot of discussion in Picard Season 2 about the nature of correctedness. Q's kind of a great lightning rod for that, because in some ways, he's one of Picard's deepest, not deep in the same way that Riker is or Beverly Crusher was, but in his own uniquely profound, deep relationship. Actually, that speaks a lot of volumes that they mentioned Beverly Crusher there. It's like, she's on their minds, like she's going to be part of Season 2. So that's a good thing. But yeah, they're right. He is kind of embedded within Picard's life for sure, as relationship-wise. Pretty important. Made Picard realize quite a few things over the course of the years. So yeah, I would agree.
I almost think he butchered this with one word being the right word rather. I thought you were going to say a different word, and then I had to do a double take and read it. But in his own uniquely profound, deep relationship, I thought you were going to say friendship. You couldn't argue them being friends. I would find that very difficult to swallow. That's like saying Data and Picard were best friends of all times. Like, they really weren't. Go and watch the show. But relationship is different. Profoundly deep relationship is a contextual thing, yeah. But on his first mission aboard the flagship, he met Q. He died once, and Q helped him see the past. He had them see the Borg, which Picard knows I was in a simulator, so he links in his brain to Q either way. You can't go away from that. Yeah. And he helped him save the universe at the end as well. So yes, relationship, yes. He hasn't seen him many times, but each time has been very important, give or take. So he saved at the end there. But it's more when I would assume it's more when Q appears, shit's going down. It's not so much, you know what I mean? It's not about him being important in his life. It's about him only appearing at an important moment or catalyzing an important moment. So he's a god creature, of course. He's not going to come for meaningless things, unless he wants to play Sheriff of Nottingham. But will Picard's new body impact his character season 2, or does it just not? Because that was an impromptu idea that you had, obviously.
It doesn't. We did fundamentally try to address that at the end of 10. He's not Super Picard. We reset his congenital problem he lived with since Next Gen and gave him the opportunity for rebirth, but it's nothing more than a record, as he might have been were he not here. Been where he... Oh my god. Bleh. Wording. So yeah, he's still a tired old man. That's going to still die and still have knee pain, and that bothers me quite a bit, actually.
But it's just fun. It's the exact same thing that him and the people like him did in 09 and His Darkness. The Khan's blood we're going to invent? Yeah, ignore. It's like, that changes the galaxy. No, ignore. It's like, that's not... this is the grand universe of Star Trek where once it goes on Memory Alpha, it's canon. I mean, it's the other way around, obviously, but you know what I mean. And so, if killing Picard means nothing, why did you do it? Like, that's it. You've literally killed Picard. He's no longer Picard anymore. He's a Picard replica. You've killed him. That's it. That's the move. And
in a very shitty way.
Yeah. With the holograms of Jurati's face that's stupid, and ships are cloned that don't work more than 10 seconds, and a copy and paste fleet. It's like, what's the...
And Riker's like, hey, peace out, die.
Yeah, I'm not going to stay 5 minutes to make sure that we're not attacked again. Yeah. It's idiotic. It's all idiotic reshoots. It's just odd. But the thing is, he did feel different at the end of episode 10. He did feel younger and more able, so I can't necessarily get behind you and say that he won't feel younger. He did feel more alive at the end of season 1. So I think he will feel less old, just not actually be different. But very strange. Very, very strange.
Yeah, and we talked about that with the trailer too. Like, it looks like he's doing archaeological stuff again. He is feeling a little bit more energized, hopefully. So, anywho.
Now, this is the mic drop one, which he throws out like nothing. So, are you guys ready for this? And I want to know your thoughts on this, please. And is the Section 31 spin-off still happening?
I don't know. I believe so. Alex has a plan. Picard wasn't supposed to be a series. It was just a one-off scene in a short trek. He wasn't even going to be played by Patrick Stewart. They were going to have a young Picard at the end of a short we are making up. Then Alex was like, what if it was Patrick Stewart? What if it wasn't one scene? Alex has a plan, and it's pretty cool. Blah.
What?
Oh.
Huh.
This is all news to me. So
is that the first time you read that?
Yes.
Stuart, your first reaction to bombshell number 3.
Oh, what the...
And you talk about... This is why you say throw you under the bus. This feels like another bus throw, because...
Yeah. It's like, hey, all this shit you guys have been complaining about for years. Yeah, that's that guy.
What do you think?
I'm shocked. I mean, I would have been fine with a younger Picard short, but then it's like, ooh. Actually, it's a good idea to do a Picard series, but it just... Alex, don't ever start by saying Alex has a plan, and it's pretty cool. He had an idea. He's like, how can we milk the fans and make them happy because they're not happy with Discovery? I know, will go on stage in Vegas and say, "Hey, guess what, guys? Picard's back! Yay!"
We haven't got a storyline or scripts or cast, and we're totally not going to change the ending. But he's here. I mean, it's just shocking. Like,
I'm back. Sorry.
and how would they even do a short trek with Picard? Like a future trek? Like, and I mean, what would be the point even? I don't know the point of that. But it's like, if Alex has a plan, why was that plan not followed through in your series, which already admitted it had no plan at the end? You haven't got a plan if you haven't got a plan. But then you obviously didn't have a brilliant idea that you took to Patrick. If it was an idea you had that was one scene, then you made it into a show that wasn't the same idea, obviously.
Yeah.
And then
because it didn't go to Patrick saying, "Hey, you want a story about a few years after TNG? Well, you're gonna die. And by the way, because he didn't even know he was dying like that, because it was all like, ooh, Patrick Stewart thought this was a great idea. He's on board, executive producer wise and stuff as well." And it's like, how does he not know what the end goal is for a character that he's
been playing for 30 years,
curated for how many years?
Yep.
Yeah, like that's ridiculous.
It's embarrassing.
Absolutely is.
And this definitely talks to how they clearly didn't have a 3-season arc. Clearly, if it wasn't even a real show idea. But it also explains why the Hobus thing feels so shoehorned, because it's just like, oh, we have to deal with that. Like, there wasn't an idea first. There was a, can we pay Patrick enough to come back in? That was it. And then it's a revolver show, because he said, they put a feeler out and he said no 4 times, whatever. But it's just remarkable, the marketing. I would love Patrick to be alive for another 30 years, to then be able to tell all in 30 years' time. So it takes a while for those things to come out. But the fact that this came out now, like I said to you, remarkable interview. It's the bombs he's dropping. Oi.
Yeah. Wow. Let's hear what you guys are saying. We got a few super chats in. So, by the way, guys, hit like. We have 1 like away from 250. So hit like if you're that one person.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Olivia Julius, $5. Fine. We're not going to say the P word. Samuel, I see the triple hairpiece is gonna look nice. Is gone. Looks nice. Oh, the triple hairpiece is gone. Looks okay. There you go. It's a compliment. Fleet Pass Swift Pack, $2. If they frack up Q, I think there will be a rebellion.
We're already past that. If you can't butcher Picard and literally butcher Icheb, and them to still make the show, you know what I mean? We're past that. We are past that.
Shane Ackery, $5. Discovery is 10 times better than Picard. Picard was awful.
Season 3.
Yeah, I wouldn't go as far as 10 times better, but it is better for sure. Fleet Pass Swiftback, $2. He's got a plan. Okay, guy, I believe you.
Yeah.
And the Dark Lord Revan puts in $5. I rather have a Star Trek Picard be about him in the Stargazer leading up to him taking command, Jack Crusher dying, etc. It's like a prequel Picard series lead up to TNG. That'd be neat. And again, it fills in some of that lost year time period. I would like that as well, but then you couldn't have Patrick Stewart in it. So, which at this point, Patrick Stewart is pretty old, and I can't even just stand here and talk. He just sounds old. Because there's that joke for all those years of Patrick Stewart doesn't age. He bathes in the blood of whatever, right, to maintain his youth. But then all of a sudden it's just brick wall, boom, old. It's what? When did that happen? At the worst time, right before you decide to bring him back.
And let's delay a year because of pandemic. Let's let him make it another year in his less good. Even George Takei's voice is going now, and he kept it for a long time.
Yeah.
He's old. I'm surprised Shatner has his voice. He sounds the same. He sounds the same 15 years, and he's like 90. That's very old. And Shatner is.
Well, Shatner's been sucking the souls out of something to maintain what he's got going on.
He'll be the last to go. I've said it before. I'll say it again. He'll be the last to go of the TOS.
Yeah.
Just out of pure energy and spite. Spitergy.
Spitergy. Well, it's always the captain's job to be like the last man on the ship.
Oh, so. Yeah. Yeah, he'll outlive all the extras as well. The children extras. Oof. He'll make sure they die first. What? Miri, I know you're only 50. You're going first. Captain, I'm living past you, girl. Okay. Fuck.
Olivia Julius, $2. May the puggy be with you.
Oh my god.
And also with you.
Nate knows reviews. Patrick Stewart is a fantastic actor, but he does not like the character of Picard or does not like Star Trek much. I know you've probably never sat down and talked to him face to face for an hour twice. I have. So I know he does like Star Trek and he does love his character. I've actually spoken to him about it in his own house with enough respect for him and me to tell him to please change your shirt so it was a nicer shirt, and he did it because he liked me. So yeah, I slightly have more authority on that. He does like the character a lot. Otherwise, wouldn't have said yes for 23 years, and he just has his own ideas as an actor to add to the character. But he really likes the character, and he really respects the character, and he likes Star Trek a lot as well too.
That's good to know.
And he even said to me, like, he is the sort of guy Shatner isn't. He said in an interview that if TNG is on, he will stop and watch it. Which Coke doesn't do. Now, I'm not saying every episode, but he enjoys when he's seen his own episodes because he didn't see every scene that he was in because obviously he didn't see them, and it's been 30 years, so he's like, oh yeah.
I would love to watch an episode with Patrick Stewart. I think that'd be amazing.
I was high that day. I had a real erection on that. When Gates bent down, I was off camera. I wasn't even meant to be in that scene, but I was just like, whoa. Why won't they let me rail her in a scene? And they kept saying we're a PG show, and I was like, yes, but then her clothes could just fall off, and it'd be great. I'm sure you get the reference.
Yes.
Good, because he went there once, so it's totally in character.
Good God, man.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, is that it? Is that all we've got to share from this article? I mean, it seems like it. Firestarter movie and nobody cares. SW
Noir says, the way you described it sounded like you think they didn't make that short with Picard. Isn't it just Children of Mars? Well, no, he's not in that short. His picture's in that short, and has very little to do with the overall story. It's a Who the Hell Cares prequel. No, that's not the short they were going to make, clearly. And even Picard being in the short, that short only makes sense as a prequel to another show. If it was a short by itself, you'd be like, holy fuck, why are we destroying Mars for the sake of a short? Sorry, what? And why are we showing ships from the... no, clearly not. That was clearly then changed. So...
Patrick O'Connell, $5. Mr. Stewart ran out of the mycelial Earl Grey blend. Mythical. Oh, mythical. Mycelial works too.
It does. Yeah. Thanks, Turning. Thank you.
Fleet Pass Swiftback, $2. 257.
Ooh.
Can we hit 300? Hashtag like spike. Hashtag make Fleet Pod pay. Well, I mean, it's a distinct possibility. We need 42 more likes. So if you haven't hit it, please hit it. Let's see what we can do.
We'd love to see.
And Kyle Wong, £5.
Thank you.
I blame Game of Thrones. They made it fashionable to kill off main characters for no reason and have a poo ending. Well.
I mean, there's always one before, It's always weird when you try and have someone say, oh, we were the first to do it. And it's like, they did it in manga 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Or etc., etc., etc. Dockery storytelling was first on this. No, go back and watch. It's like when they say episodic storytelling for the first on Star Trek, you're like, did you not see DS9? Well, clearly not, But that wasn't the first. Babylon 5 did it before them.
Mm-hmm. Nothing new is new. Sorry, guys. Anyway.
And that's okay, because it's how you use it. You know, we've said this before, the best stories are the stories in the Trek universe, but often you can move that story into another universe and still be interesting. Like a time loop. You know, a time loop can be done in almost any format. It's still a time loop, but it's how you do it. Like, the fun is, and it can be almost, you know, you could have 2 time loops set in LA, but if one main character is a douchebag, one main character is a millionaire, they'll be radically different despite the same story. So you can tell good stories just with different characters. That's why characters should all be key. Should always be the key. And that's why Pike, as in this picture, he swan-songed in Discovery because he had a real character. When the rest of the characters fell absolutely flat. Even number 1 had a character. And therefore stood out. Didn't take much. Did not take much.
Yeah. Olivia Julius, $10. Puggy is eternal. Puggy is forever. Puggy made the earth, and Puggy will destroy the earth. Puggy will outlive you and your great-grandchildren. Puggy forever. Aren't you glad I own a pug, Samuel?
I kind of wish I'd owned a koala, because that would make way more Trek sense. The koala is eternal. The koala is forever. The koala did make the earth. And on, Teb, on. Oh, he phrased it right. Wrong moment. Damn. His face. His face. There he is. Hiya.
I heard most of that, so.
Good stuff. But Stuart,
I heard most of it, so.
But Stuart, let's do a final countdown. How many super chats do you want to see before we end? Because this was I really enjoyed this live. It was good. We got a lot out of the interview. How many likes? How many super chats? Because I want to have a like and super chat spike. I really do.
I want to get 275 likes.
Yep.
So, guys, that's 9 more likes, and let's do $25 more in super
Boom.
chats. I think that's possible. And don't forget, there's the last super chat slot. Was it Sergeant Montgomery that got the first one with his first snipe of the night? Yes. Sergeant Montgomery, if you're still here and want the last super chat slot to bookend the super chats, by all means, consider firing.
But definitely, let's spam the chat now. Obviously, we talked about Picard for the second half, well, for the last third. But for the first half, we were obviously ragging on the older seasons of Discovery. But boy, the amount of interesting stuff in this interview. How many of you are more excited about Strange New Worlds given the very literal updates that we were getting? So, are you more, less excited, or meh? Are you still in the middle? Because I would be hard pressed to say you're not more excited. I would be shocked, But hey, we've been tricked before, or at least we haven't necessarily been tricked before, but we've let ourselves be hopeful before. But yeah, what do you guys think? Are you more, less, or meh excited given Akiva's words of wisdom about wanting to link more back to TOS, linking more to Episodic, and even tweaking the uniforms, sets, ship to be more appropriate? Yeah.
Yes. Spam the chat, guys. We are 6 likes away from our like goal. If you guys have anything else you want to tell us, let us know. But spam the chat with your ideas.
What about you, Stuart? Where are you?
I am way more excited, honestly. Because chance of a brand new looking ship, falling more in line with how it should look, especially the interiors are super exciting. The uniform, okay, fine, cool. I could have lived with the asymmetrical collar; it would have bothered me. But yes, there's simple things to fix. They make a whole lot of sense. Please do it. So I'm super excited to read this. After I read it, I was like, God damn, I'm super excited to talk about this now because I didn't know this was a thing. So I appreciate you sending me the interview.
I was
For some
shocked.
reason, it just didn't come up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's now getting traction. I was looking on Facebook during this as well to try and see who messaged me, and I'm seeing now other sites reporting on it. So I think it was a low key because he's not really the guy everyone listens to, but it is newsworthy and it should break it down. So, yeah.
Well, I'm glad we were here to talk about it because we love doing that for you guys. So.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like we should better get 300 maybe, or 280 at least, 285. Come on, guys.
Keep hitting that like button, guys.
$20 more super chats. Just throw out your thoughts. Couple of 5. See what you think. We want to know.
So we got a meh. Some more, but I still don't trust him to not fuck it up. Definitely more, meh, more excited, more. Never give up, never surrender. Never give up, never surrender.
Pretty good.
Excellent, excited and interested.
Mm.
Can't wait for Strange New Worlds. So nobody's like less excited. It's all either meh or, well, cautiously optimistic is the meh. So,
but I would be interested actually to go back in and talk to some people who just love the Discovery aesthetic. I don't necessarily know any, or have ever seen any, but what would they be thinking? I'm sure people have obviously liked the aesthetic of the bridge, which is absolutely fine. But for those that are like, oh yeah, that's the best aesthetic ever, like, are they going to alienate their old audience? Or is that audience relatively so small that it actually makes a billion times more sense to actually appeal to actual Star Trek original fans, as in everyone between TOS and TNG, Voyager and DS9, not the new fans, you know?
well, we've talked about that before, and I said, you know, they don't want to do that. They don't want to alienate the Discovery fans that love the Disco Prize. Some people are on that the Disco Prize is better than the original Enterprise. It's not, but it's a great looking ship nonetheless. So that's why I didn't have faith that it would be different for Pike. And I think it's not going to be too different, to be honest. I think it's going to look very similar. The color's going to be more white, and it's going to have straight struts at least. There might be, you know, that's going to be the minimum amount of changes that they'll do. But there could be more. Like, it is very squat in profile to the original one, and I don't like that. So hopefully things like that are fixed. But yeah, I think they got a small little, very vocal group of people that really love that ship and that aesthetic, and a much larger one that wants something more true to what it should be.
Which it should be, because it evolves into the TOS Connie. Like, there isn't a discussion here.
Yeah.
It evolves into the TOS Connie.
Yeah.
So there is no, you know...
I don't think it's a bad move on their part at all, doing it that way. Oh. Oh, that's a scary thing to come back to. It's a very small group, I think, and even I think they'll even get over it if it's different. Because they'll always have their ship. They've got the Eagle Moss one in their hand because all those people bought it for sure.
Uh-huh.
So it's no brainer, I think, on CBS's part to do it for the hard fans.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Disco Prize, yeah, absolutely. You fill in struts, that's a must. I don't mind if they don't straighten them, because you can say that was the refit that led to the TOS Connie. I think that's probably gonna stay slanted, and I'm okay with that. Just fill them in, raise them, give that original front view, because it doesn't look good for every angle. It just doesn't. And we've got a version, it does not. Make the paint scheme less coppery, obviously. Change the bridge module, make it look more familiar. Remove the bridge window, but that's too much to ask for. They won't do that, but whatever, that's fine.
I think they will. That's one thing I'll call that they'll probably do.
I mean, to be fair though, the original design did have it opaque, so they may just close it up and then open up when they need to. So they may fix that by using the original design idea. And just
Scott Snyder for the win, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it needs to be the color, the slit, the size, but who the hell cares about that size? They retconned it out of original and just retcon it back. You know what I mean? Just have it be the original size. It's fine. Start fresh or a new show.
But on a screen on Discovery, it is the correct size. They got all the measurements there. So, not that anybody notices those kind of things.
No. Yeah.
Fleet Paw Swiftback, $3. Good pick of number 1. I see why you chose it. LOL. Right. The collar is very much not visible.
Yes.
Sergeant Montgomery, $2. Colonel West Snipe.
Oh no!
You almost got it. Because Olivia had to ruin it for you with $5. I'm just taking time away from the Barbie to tell you about Precious the koala. Now, if you need me, I'll be cooking puggy hot dogs.
Oh Jesus!
That's awful.
But what are our favourite Enterprise designs? Says Nate.
For me, it's the TOS Constitution or the refit. Kind of interchangeable, depends on my mood, but I think the refit is like the epitome of the Enterprise design. So
yeah, the refit is hard to argue a better design visually, but the original is there's a reason that's the design that everyone defaults to. There's a reason why that design is in more homes than the refit, because that's the one that transcended all barriers, transcended all homes. That is the icon, and it's a glorious ship. And it looks good in HD, looks good in SD, looks good on the original, looks good in miniature, looks good in all forms. But the other one improves it being more movie. So they're good for different reasons. And I've done how many animations of the original Connie Stewart at this point for fan films? I've done my time.
yeah, no shit.
So I know that ship from a lot of angles. And I'll be honest, the TOS refit, not to say I haven't made it look as good, but the TOS Connie is more satisfying to work with. For whatever reason. Now it's more plain to work with, but when you get that ship looking good, it's more satisfying than getting the refit look good.
Ah, okay.
But also I think most models of the refit aren't like the highest detail that the original was, because that's obviously really hard to do. So if I was to get a model of the refit that was like to the polygon perfect, then maybe it would look better. And probably would, but
yeah.
Like I've done some shots of the refit and it looks weirdly plain, but it's also the model. Like it's always the model, you know. Like I've got a version that I managed to put interiors inside, and it looks brilliant with interiors. And in fact, you'll see that soon, Stuart.
Cool.
But some angles you just can't. It's weird. It's really weird. Yeah.
Well, Matt Boardman throws in $2 and says, sniping. Sergeant Montgomery, $2. Cricket phaser snipe. Fleet Paw Swiftback, $2. Snipe. Wasn't talking about the collar. Winky face. You're a dirty, dirty person. Fleet Paw. SWTX Chaser, $2. Snipe. So SWTX Chaser has last super chat slot. We did hit our 275 gold. We're at 281.
285. Come on, 285. We can do it.
Okay, it's 4 more. The commander wants 4 more.
And
so
$7 more. That's all.
Sturm Von Hulk, $2. Commander, ever done light Aztecing on TOS Connie?
Yes, I don't do Connie without Aztecing. Always. You can't go back to plain hull. No offense. It was always there, just subtly, and you just do it. Even at 10% level, it needs to be there, just the shit to pop, and that's fine. I think it's absolutely acceptable. It's a fine little retcon.
Yep, absolutely.
Although Pogo B, Stuart, Pogo B.
Hello, gentlemen. First time joining you for a live discussion, but long-time viewer. Looking forward to joining more. Thank you for your engaging discourse. Well, thank you so much for speaking up. We really appreciate that. And hopefully you join more of the lives, because we do have a good time interacting with you guys. And we would love to see you comment more. So thank you for making yourself known.
Thank you, Pogo, or Mr. B, depending on how you want to be called. What a great silly name. Ooh, yeah. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go 290 likes. 290 likes and $4 more. I'm gonna push it here. 290. Come on.
4 more likes now and $4 more. There you go.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Sergeant Montgomery, $2. Kirk Kung Fu Chop Snipe. Damn. Matt Boardman, $2. Price is Right Snipe.
Ooh.
Olivia Julius, $2. Puggy Theft Snipe. We don't steal pugs. SWTX Chaser, $2. Snipe for number 1. Fleet Paw Swiftback, $2. Let's make a deal snipe. Squadron Course, $2. Had to work late, but made it in time to snipe. Cool. So the discussion Squadron Course when you go back and rewatch.
Ooh, 2 more likes.
Anyway, as I was saying, hopefully you enjoy the rest of the discussion Squadron Course when you go back to rewatch.
Yeah, please do.
So Squadron Course has the last super chat slots. We hit the
just 2 more likes.
Goals.
Yeah.
Just 2 more likes now. I thought you were 285.
No, I said 290. I went up to 290. But super chats were absolutely gold. No more super chats. No more super. Don't be that one guy that is the best guy on the live stream. Don't be that guy.
Well, come on, we want Sergeant Montgomery to win the
we
war.
We do.
But we'll let you know as we're just signing off Sergeant Montgomery so you can get in there.
2 more likes.
Livy Julius, $2. Puggy Puppy Snipe.
Oh.
$2. 2 more.
1 more like. 1 more like.
Last snipe and 1 more like.
You will be the last like. You could be the last like.
You will be the last like.
Ah, we got it.
Captain Chili being at $2. Just a regular old snipe. All right, well, that's it. Sergeant Montgomery's Now's the Time. Sturm Von Alk, $2.
my
Wesley
God.
Snipe. Ozzy
it
Medeiros,
was just that.
$5. Federation President, Skeleton Hands, Okie dokie.
And I want to
Sergeant Montgomery, $1. There you go.
All right, see you tomorrow or next time. Bye, guys. We love you.